Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Ball Black Podcast. My name is Jason Stalakis. We have Mr. Brown here today. So, Mr. Brown, how are you doing today?
Not too bad. It's been a few months since I've actually done the podcast in a little bit. Me and the boys on Off the Monster Pod. We've kind of taken a little bit of a siesta this year in August, and that's the summertime blues, man. Or what do you call it? The midsummer. Um, it's just a long summer, and it's a great summer, and everybody's just enjoying being out rather than being around a podcast. Which, hey, go live your life, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of things going on this summer. I leave for college next week, so I'm trying to enjoy out the last moments I have until I leave. So, you gotta find time, and I did, and we did. So, yeah, we're gonna talk Sox. We might talk some Pats too. Maybe some Bruins too, because there's some news in that end. So yeah, where do you want to start since you're the guest? Where do you want to start, Mr. Brown?
Yeah, I'd like to start with Chris Sale. I think he shocked just about everybody out there with his start the other night. Mind he was against Detroit, but still he was one guy away from basically five. Was it 5 innings or six? I think it was
I think
five.
five.
Five
Yeah,
innings of perfect baseball.
he's either
Seven
five or six. I
strikeouts.
gotta check. Yeah,
It was five.
so
I'm pretty sure it was five because they said originally he was only going to go four. I think he ended up going like 60 something pitches, seven strikeouts. He looked strong. He looked really good. Um, I don't know how long that's going to take to stretch him out. You wouldn't think too long. I mean, he's been out for what, 2, 3 months with this back or this back issue that he had.
he had like a fracture in his shoulder.
Yeah, which was the weirdest thing. How the hell do you fracture your
I
shoulder?
think it was like wear. I don't want to say wear and tear, but it's like a stress fracture almost. I'm not a doctor, but like I
Yeah,
heard it
but
was from like throwing so
I've been in
hard.
healthcare for 22 years. I've never heard of somebody getting a stress fracture in their shoulder blade.
I
Never.
don't know. That's what someone
I
told me.
mean, but you watch, there was a picture somebody posted on Twitter the other night, and it just showed Sale's arm like mid pitch, and it looks excruciatingly
Oh, I know what
unnatural.
you're talking about. Yeah.
And you're just like, how in the world is his arm? How does he make it through one outing? Pitchers' arms are just built differently to throw in that angle. They're not built to throw in that angle. That's why you get so many of these guys going through Tommy John surgery. Believe it or not,
Hmm.
the most natural way to pitch is underarm. So you get these submarine pitchers. That's the most natural way to your arm to naturally go. It's not meant to go over the top. It's not even meant to go sideways. I remember my coach used to yell at me if you threw a sideways pitch when I was coming up as a kid because I thought I
Yeah.
could pitch the ball, which I couldn't. I played the outfield. Speaking of the outfield, oh, man, is it me or Verdugo? He just does not have an accurate arm. He does not have a strong arm, and he does not have an accurate arm.
He's been progressively getting worse since
We, it
April.
just it just fathoms me to the point. It's like, why is Rafaela not up here?
Well, it's
I,
because
I
of
get that
service
Verdugo's
time.
going to hit, but you can't tell me Rafaela is not a better outfielder.
Well, yeah, Rafael is better defensively. And the thing with Rafael is I don't think they want to start his service time. They're probably going to wait till May of next year just because of like how service time works. And I think, look, Rafaela, I think it's tough because yeah, you're gonna have good defense. You also need offense, and the biggest question with him is the bat. But at the same time, your defense has been atrocious. I mean, where would you put him? Would you put him
I
in
put him in
center?
right field.
Put him
I
in
put him
right
in
field
right
over
field. Yeah,
Verdugo?
yeah. I mean, he could be your fourth outfielder, I guess. But once Turner gets back, that kind of throws a loop into it, which he looks in pain running the bases right
Yeah.
now.
I mean, he has a
Um,
4 to 6 week injury that he's gonna play through, but he's gonna
and you
play through.
need him in
He's
there.
playing through it. Yeah, you need him in there. He's hit
His
like what
offense is
2 home runs?
undeniable.
Yeah, he's been like one of the AL's hottest hitters.
And if
And
Duvall starts warming up, oof.
Yeah, we're talking. They were talking on the baseball hour today. This is going to be, and if when Tanner Houck comes back, the best this Red Sox team is going to get at a good time. If it all clicks, you could see a postseason run. But if it doesn't click, you're done. Obviously,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I think if
Did I
this team
miss it
can't,
the other night? Good.
I was gonna say if Houck comes back, you're looking at Whitlock is back in the bullpen, which is great.
Did he
Um,
pitch the other night?
Houck or
Or was
Whitlock?
no Whitlock?
I didn't watch much. I didn't watch the games
I
this
know I
weekend.
saw a stat that he had 2 innings
He
with
had
no
two
runs,
innings, no
but
no
I
hits. He
didn't
had
know if
he
that
had
was
he
with
had he
Worcester or
had
was with the Red Sox.
that was with the Red Sox. He had one run, but that was not earned. It wasn't really his fault, from what I've heard. Like I still need to watch those highlights, but from what I've heard, they weren't his fault.
I love Garrett Whitlock, and I just always said he's a definite 2 to 3 inning guy out of the bullpen. Um, after you get the first round of guys seeing him, they're on him. You
Yeah,
can throw. It doesn't matter how fast you throw, they're on him.
yeah, and Whitlock's velocity was back up.
Yankees are
Oh, who hit the home run?
just
I
a few
think.
hits, nothing crazy.
Who's starting for Atlanta?
Max Fried,
Ugh.
yeah,
Whatever, Yankees will blow it. They were up six. They were what? They were up 7-1 in one point. They're up like 7-3 in the ninth, 7-2 in the
yeah, and they
ninth.
blew like a 6 run lead or something. Saw
Yep,
that. I mean, I'm
sucks
not
to
gonna.
suck.
I'm happy. So I had a discussion with the guys earlier today. To my understanding and stats understanding is that Cassis is a rookie. So hear me out. Josh Young is rookie of the year. Probably not. It just went down the toilet with a broken thumb, I think.
He had a broken finger, which it's a big blow to his rookie of the year campaign.
Yeah. Massa is beyond struggling at the plate right now. He can't get the ball in the air for some reason all of a sudden. Everything's off the ground and ground balls here and there. Is it crazy to think Cassis could be rookie of the year?
I mean, look, it's not out of the question right now, and I think if he keeps playing the way he's playing, I think he has a chance to win it. I truly
He's got
do.
a chance to put 20 25 RBIs up between 60 to 70. I'm sorry, 60 to 70 RBIs with 20 to 25 home runs. And he wasn't hitting 200 2 months ago. And he's probably the way he's hitting right now. If he hits 270, that's amazing.
It is, and I said like,
The
look,
only problem is he hasn't had the at bats because, well, not so much now because he doesn't have Kike anymore. So he can't take Kike and Duran out of the
and
lineup.
Turner
Um,
can't play first base anymore, or he can, but like they're not going to put him there, right?
they're not going to put him yeah, he's
Exactly.
strictly DH at this point. But
I think
stories look good, I think.
he looked bad early on with the bat. However, it looks like as if he
Yeah, the
has
first
more
few
he has more like
games.
as Tony Maserati called it, more zip with the ball. He's like the throws, he's much more like his arm's so much better compared to last year. I'm like, oh, some of the throws that Story made, I'm like, there's no way. He had such a weak arm last year. And you know,
Yeah, I don't get
the
I don't
elbow's feeling better.
close my eyes every time a ball is hit to the left side of the infield anymore.
Thank God.
Unless it's hit to Devers.
Well, even that,
Wait,
I mean,
Devers is on the
any ground
struggle bus
ball,
this year.
well, to his standards. Since then, he's a little bit better now, but like for his standards, yeah. And I think I kind of expected it just because this is the first year in his career where he's not like surrounded with guys who can protect him in the lineup. Like, cause he's played his whole career with guys like Xander Bogaerts, JD Martinez, Nate
But
Eovaldi,
he is,
not
though.
Nate
I
Eovaldi,
mean, I
Mookie
feel like he
Betts.
is because you got Turner, you got Duvall, Moss, okay, maybe not. He's still a 300 hitter. Duran's a 300 hitter. So you don't got Punch and Judy hitters around him. You got guys who can get on base. Obviously, they're not JD Martinez, David Ortiz. David Ortiz has been gone for years now. I just he's put in two. I think he's hitting like 170 in the last month. They
Devers?
said no, that's Masataka.
Oh,
Devers,
Yoshida,
I'm
yeah.
not sure, but he has not been hitting well. He's been striking out a lot more than usual. His fielding is like better, but I think Cassis, man, I think he's extremely underrated as a first baseman. He receives the ball, and I said at the beginning of the year, I looked at Anthony Rizzo. He's a big target. He receives the ball very well, and that's who Cassis reminds me of. Don't get me wrong. I think Rizzo's a top three defensive first baseman who can just dig balls out. And Cassis has got a little bit to learn there. He's missed a couple that you're like, okay, maybe you should add that, but I mean, maybe they've been just absolute shots. But the infield's come a long way. If you're not giving up runs in your defense, and I think if you look at the numbers by end of August, it's going to be night and day compared to July or June or
Oh yeah,
May.
it is.
And your bullpen is going to be fairly good. I would put them as one of the best bullpens in
Dude,
the league.
I've been saying if Whitlock comes back, your 6 through 9, when fully healthy, is gonna be insane, right? You have Garrett
Mm-hmm.
Whitlock, you have John Schreiber, you have Chris Martin, Josh Winkowski, and Kenley Jansen. Holy cow, that's one of the best bullpens in baseball.
Yeah.
Now the
Yep.
back end, like
Bernardino.
Bernardino, yeah. I mean, I'm not sold on him yet. I'm
Yeah.
beginning to, but
But
I'm
for a
like,
guy, he doesn't need to come in for long. He can come in for just that end of the inning to get that lefty. He's a lefty,
yeah,
right?
exactly, yeah, exactly. And the Red Sox this season have been struggling getting lefty on lefties. That's what Dick Blyer was brought in to do, face lefties, and he had reverse splits for most of the year. So did I mean Joely Rodriguez. I heard he had a big setback, and he's probably not going to be able to pitch again this year. Which, like, fine, whatever. Um,
It's not a it's not a major loss.
I'm not losing sleep over
But
it,
I think
obviously.
yeah.
And you have Zach
Dude,
Kelly
I
coming
hate to
back
admit
too.
it, and I think Taylor's probably gonna lose his mind when if he hears this and he watches this one. But getting Reese McGuire back has made a huge difference because that was a
Has
nightmare.
it? I just feel like the
It,
starters have not been
it
good.
was awful. Man, Austin Riley just hit a home run. 29
Yeah.
home runs this year. No,
Guys, how
he's
many? 39?
29.
Oh, 29. I think you said 39. I'm like, where have I been?
Yeah.
Olsen has like
I
41.
think he's much better than Aquaman was. I
Yeah.
mean, the guy, I
Yeah.
don't even know how he's in the league playing catcher.
McGuire's a solid backup catcher. If he's a starting catcher, that's a
Yeah.
different story. He's not the starting catcher.
No,
Long's a
that's all you want him to take every fourth or fifth
that
game.
that's what I said about Kevin Plawicki in 2021, right? He's not a good catcher. He's a solid backup catcher. He can
Hmm.
hit. Yes, he had some pop that year. He hit like 287. He
And
could
that's all you
hit.
want. Sign him for another year or two until Teal gets up here and
McGuire already
oh
has years of control.
yeah, well that's all right. So he's the perfect bridge till Teal comes up. And when Teal comes up, McGuire's gone. I hate to say it, Connor Wong's gonna have to realize he's the backup catcher. If Teal is the guy that he looks like already in the minor league, which he's just ripping up high A right now, he's going to be. Well, it really doesn't take much to be an elite catcher, especially from an offensive standpoint, because there really aren't a lot of Adley Rutschmans out there
They're
anymore.
not. They're few good all around catchers. Like there are only a few I can name. Rutschman, what's his name? Will Smith of the Dodgers. He's a decent all around catcher. JT Realmuto. That's it.
Yeah,
I'm probably
yeah.
forgetting one.
No, but it just doesn't
Kyle Raleigh
exist.
against the Red Sox. But yeah, other than that, no. Um, but I'm not worried about Teal. I know he's going to be good, but like I'm not going to rely on him. Just I'm focused. I'm focused on now and right now. Connor Wong's the number one catcher. Down the road, yeah, probably hypothetically, if he comes back, if he comes, Wong's probably looking at himself as the backup catcher. But I'm like I said, I don't care about 3 years from now. I care about now.
I mean, they could be 50-50 catches for all I care. But just the fact there's a catcher in our farm system now, which we've not had for, wow, it's probably since Veritek.
Yeah, I mean Vasquez was a decent one, but he wasn't some
Yeah.
like highly
He,
sought over prospect. He just
I don't
happened
know
to
what
bloom.
happened. He was fantastic with his pop rate and throwing guys out. And then he had that, I think he had Tommy John.
Ooh.
Um, and he just was never the same as far as throwing guys out anymore. He didn't have
Mm-hmm.
Tommy John for the, yeah, you never hear catchers having Tommy John, but he had
He
Tommy
got
John.
hurt, but I think he got hurt. Like it wasn't like wear and tear Tommy John. He got hurt and he required Tommy John surgery.
Right.
That
Yeah,
was the
that's
big difference.
yeah. But so we're talking about the schedule coming up. They got a
Yeah.
little bit of wiggle room the next couple series. They got Washington, then they have, help me out here,
They have Washington, then they
New
go to
York.
New York, and then
And
after New
after that,
York, I'll wrap up August. They have 4 in Houston, 3 against the Dodgers at home, and 3 against Houston at home. That's August.
it's pretty fierce. Then they're AL East, a lot of AL East in September. Probably 60-70% of AL East in September.
Listen, man. That's why I'm like, these guys got to take minimum 3 out of 4 against Kansas City, which they did, and you got to at least sweep. Yes, you got to find a way to sweep one of these teams. They didn't.
No.
That was a disappointing homestand.
Yeah, they need to just win series moving
They needed to
forward.
win one game against Toronto. They won 3 out of 4
Ooh,
against Kansas
that
City.
Toronto series was disastrous. I think they saw the writing on the wall. The guys were coming back, and they just said they took an exhale or something because
They're like,
Toronto
yeah,
just
whatever. They're like,
manhandled
whatever.
them. And it was, I hate Toronto. They are absolutely my least favorite team in the AL East now. The way their pompous attitude is, I hated that whole thing coming out of the bullpen and making a distraction for the starting pitcher every night. And they knew what they were doing. I think it was so Bush League. It's like, what are you doing? This is the major league. This is Major League Baseball. Don't act like you've never been there before. Have some friggin' dignity. But they don't. You know, and it starts with guys like, well, he just got sent down to AAA. Oh, what's his
Bearclaw?
name? No, I love the name though. No, the pitcher for the Blue Jays who's had trouble back and
Manoa.
forth, Manoa, which he pitched phenomenally. He always pitches out of his mind
I have
versus the
I,
Red Sox
I
for some
have
reason.
preseason predictions every season, and I had him as my Cy Young vote. As much as I didn't like him to, I
I
had him
don't
as
know
my
what
Cy Young
happened
vote.
with him because he's got the stuff.
I heard here's what I heard from a couple people. They said they didn't like the way he was like I heard he was kind of cocky coming into camp. He like gained a bunch of weight. Um and apparently the pitch clock kind of screwed him over.
All right, people are gonna watch this and they're like, man, they're 10 minutes into this podcast and they have not hit the third reel of Major League Baseball right now. Everything that's breaking news. I mean, do we talk about it? Do we not talk about it? I mean, do we?
Um
I think it's the
we can't I
power
think
of
it's only
social
fitting.
media right now.
It's
But
wild.
yeah,
You
but
want to
there's
address
got
the
to be
elephant
some
in the
truth
room?
to it because a team doesn't pull a guy in the in the game where they're giving. Oh, this is the more disturbing part. They give away hats to get it now, 14 and under kids, 14 and under. I'm like, oh, that was a PR nightmare.
Oh my God. Yeah, I know. I was thinking the same thing. Like, dude, imagine what these guys are thinking right now. Oh my God.
I mean, there's pictures of him and this girl together. What they did together, I'm not gonna say. Um,
They play Monopoly, probably.
Yeah, they played Clue.
They played Clue. Um,
And this huge, massive bling for playing Monopoly together. I'll tell you that right now. This massive bling around her neck, the same stuff he was wearing. It might have been his jewelry. I don't even know. But it's absolutely horrifying, disgusting.
it's
And I just hope
terrible.
it's not true
I hope it's not true either. It's not
because
funny. It's like not funny.
I
The
don't
fact that they did the
I don't see how
promotion.
you ever let him play in Major League Baseball if it is true.
Look, he might end up on the Red Sox because Matt Dermody did. Wonder Franco. Okay.
Ooh.
No, I'm
I
kidding.
mean, Matt Dermody, that was yeah.
Like that was not necessary.
Especially
Like,
with the Red Sox as woke as that ownership is, I was shocked that they let Boston Bruins did it too.
yep, the Bruins
You
did it
know,
too. It was so weird.
you know, it's
Speaking
like,
of
do you guys
Bruins,
not read?
yeah. Speaking of
Yeah,
Bruins,
another guy retired.
David Krejci announced his retirement,
Yeah,
which
Krejci.
I didn't really want him back.
Yeah, so
I'm not even gonna
basically
lie.
that 2011 Stanley Cup are gone. You got Chara, Bergeron, and Krejci now, which I don't know. I mean, they didn't have any money to sign him anyway, and he obviously came back just because he probably knew it was Bergeron's swan song year, and he wanted to go out with his buddy, which I'll personally tell you, never been a big Krejci fan because all you have to do is hit him, and you'll never hear from him the game for the rest of the game. The guy was afraid of his own shadow.
Damn. No, I mean that's what they were saying on Falger and Mass today. Like, I don't think he's ever been like an MVP.
He
So
was during the 2011 Stanley Cup Series,
that was
and
that
he
was
might
over
have
10
been
years
during
ago.
when they went to the Cup versus the Blackhawks. But the 2011 one, he had a fantastic run. Um, Great playoff series. I think he didn't get hurt. Somebody else got hurt. But he was great. But he somewhere along the line the league changed and his type of player mentality, the way he played the game, did not match up well in the league. The league got bigger
Correct.
and he was able to be pushed around a lot easier. And they did not have a Luke Shake on this team for quite a long time. So they were able to push guys around with the Bruins. Case in point with Pasternak, he was getting lit up left and right by Wilson, and nobody would go to his defense. But
He was also a skinny guy. Pasternak was not even he wasn't a big guy.
Pasternak will defend himself. He's not afraid to defend himself.
Yeah.
He's a Czech. But they got some big guys now. Shattenkirk, JVR.
Yeah. It's gonna be
Line
interesting to see.
is
Yeah.
gonna make sure that it's gonna be an interesting year for the Bruins. I don't know if they're a Stanley Cup contender. I mean, they're
Look,
older.
look, you
It's
got
gonna be a
veteran
mix of old and
guys.
young.
You just got to make it. I mean, look at the Florida Panthers. They had no business being there, and they made the Stanley Cup Finals.
I
And the
mean,
Bruins are not going to be the best team in the league. If they were, they're not going to win it all. Montgomery is not the guy. He wasn't the guy in the playoffs. I kind of knew from the start. I'm like, dude, we better hope this guy knows what he's doing. I'm like, he's up 3-1. He's experimenting with these lines. I'm like, what are you doing? This is the Stanley Cup playoffs. You can't be doing that. Like, I don't know
yeah,
hockey that well, but I know for a fact that coming back from a 3-1 deficit is not uncommon. So,
yeah, he was definitely not ready for the moment. Not
no, he
playing
should have changed goalies.
Swayman in game 3, 4, 5 was when, that's why they lost. Bergeron was not Bergeron, but they were never going to pull him. And that's just, they were not going to pull him, even though he was injured. Who else was injured? That obviously we knew Allmark was in. They must have known Allmark was injured, but they
They
didn't
must have
pull him.
known, but they're like, oh, Vesna trophy winner. Never, he's gonna win the Vesna, so we have to play our best goalie. I'm like, no, that's not. I thought
Yeah,
they were gonna
well,
trade him. I mean, it.
well, yeah. Speaking of teams getting older in New England, our New England Patriots went and got a little bit older today.
Ah,
Signed
yes, Zeke Elliott.
Ezekiel Elliott, which I
Ah,
love it. I love it. Between him and Stevenson, that's going to be a hell of a backfield because you don't need to have Zeke in there two times uh, every time you get the ball. He's a specialty guy. He's your clock killing Corey Dillon. He's the guy you're going to throw in when you need to kill the clock and when you're down at the goal line to punch it in. Because Ramondre Stevenson, he gets bruised up a little bit easy, I think, but Zeke, I can push it across the goal. He's a
I
bigger
just,
dude.
I just want a passing back. I don't think Zeke's not really a passing back, is he? I don't think he is.
No,
That's
I
why I was advocating for Dalvin Cook, who just signed with the Jets for like 8.6 million,
yeah,
which they were
I think
never
that's
gonna.
probably why
I
the
thought they were
Patriots
never gonna get it.
passed because it costs
Yeah,
them a couple more million a year.
I mean,
Which
what
that's
Zeke's
a
base
lot.
salary? Yeah, no, Cook was one of the best running backs. That's the thing. I mean, the running back market right now is so depleted because look at all these long-term running back deals. Zeke Elliott's a good example. He sucked after his long-term deal. Christian McCaffrey, he's good, but he has not lived up nearly to what he's getting paid. Who else am I missing? Running backs that were paid the big bucks and just never. Point being, teams are very hesitant to give the big contract because they compare these long-term deals for running backs. Running backs have shorter primes than any other position in the
Yeah,
NFL.
but you be able to give him at least 2 or 3 years at a
They
large
don't want
sum.
2 3 year deals though. They want like
Yeah.
4 or
I
5.
mean, I get it with guys like Saquon. Saquon's been unfortunately injury prone since he's entered the league, but he is by far the best running back in the league.
One of them. I don't think there's like one
That,
the best running back, but he's certainly one of them.
yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
going back to the Patriots in our final, we have about 10 minutes left. Before the Zoom's gonna kick us out. Thank you, Zoom. Um, yeah, I think for the Patriots, I think my biggest question is the offensive line.
yeah, it
You
looked
didn't really
horrible.
add to it. Like, yeah, it didn't look good. Like, look,
I was wondering if it
Riley
was the
Reef,
offensive line or it was Zappy because Zappy, oof, he was getting lit up.
whatever. Zappy's gonna be the backup.
Wow,
Well, I
Malik
don't know about
Cunningham,
that. I don't
Malik
know.
Cunningham fever. I didn't watch the when he came in, but he evidently looked pretty good.
Yeah, and apparently they were saying on sports radio today that like they were shitting on Christian Gonzalez. They were like calling him like weak, and they're like, oh, he's not a Belichick guy. Was it Belichick who drafted him? Probably not.
What
It
was
was
that
Belichick.
DEI?
No.
Oh,
98, 5. The
yeah.
Sports Hub.
I can't
I
listen
don't
to
listen
either
to
one of
EEI.
them. I
I
think
can't
they're
listen to
awful.
EEI. I
Yeah.
can't listen to EEI.
EEI is like ESPN. It's just atrocious. But
I've
getting
lost
back to
I
the Red
lost
Sox,
EEI ever since they got rid of Merloni.
you
The
know,
only reason I listened to EEI was because of Merloni.
yeah.
Like I'm being
But even then,
truthful.
Lou Maloney's on with the Nesson more
Yeah.
than not, you know. Um, but what do they got? How many games they got left? 50?
The who?
Red Sox?
Yeah, about.
Yeah, so they probably have to go about 35 and 15, I'd say, to get in the playoffs. I mean,
That's
even
that's
30 and
tough.
20. 30 and
I don't
20,
know.
600 ball would be very good. And I think it's in the playoffs because I think
They're not gonna do that.
looked at their
I,
schedule. I imagine it's as tough as ours. I think that's what the schedules are for every division, that you're playing a lot within your own division in September. I think that's the one thing they finally got right to make sure there's a lot of viewership in that last month because the races will be tight. And those wild card spots are going to go down to the last week,
I
last
I
couple
had a I
games.
had a I'm like, dude, if the wild card race, if the Red Sox are in it come the last week, it'll probably it's how like Cora did like the all hands on deck thing, like
Hmm.
in the last season against Washington in 21. And it'd be interesting because it's like, look, hypothetically, if there's like because they play Baltimore. Baltimore probably clinched a division at that point. Right now, no one's clinched anything. If anything, Oakland's probably going to be out of it soon. Um, Baltimore's going to be clinched, and they're going to rest all their guys. And what are the Red Sox going to do? They're going to go all in. They're going to be like, everyone's available. Everyone's available. Like you saw Erod pitch in Game 3 after he pitched Game 1 of the Washington series 2 years ago.
If they
So
make the playoffs, they're by far, I think, the top three in the AL. Just because this outweighs 2021 by far because their pitching was not that good that year. Their offense
in the
is what
second
got them
half,
back into the playoffs,
yeah,
and
uh-huh.
their pitching was sketchy. It was so up and down and
They lost their
inconsistent.
closer. They lost their closer.
Yeah, and they didn't have a closer. It was like closer by committee
It was
by that
closer by
point.
committee in August and September because Matt Barnes got COVID.
Yeah,
He wasn't the same since. And then you got Robles. Robles was good in September. He was just bad in August. Yeah, no, yeah, like you said, closer by committee. And I'm like, dude, and I was the biggest advocate. I'm like, dude, your best arm is Whitlock. Have him the closer. And the
all right.
biggest thing was
You brought up Matty backpacks, and I got to spend 45 seconds talking about this. So I saw a video of Machado getting up after he had injured the day after he injured Pedroia, and the inability for Barnes to even hit Machado, and he still got thrown out of the game. And it was just it's like that's Matty Barnes, man. He can't even do the simplest friggin' thing, like hit the damn batter. He ended up hitting the guy's. He hit Machado's bat, and it was a foul ball. He threw behind him.
I find
It's
that to
like
be the
you
funniest
screwed up
thing
the
ever.
simplest thing. All you had to do was hit him.
I know. It's
But
wild.
yeah, I did get that off my chest. But
That's fine. That's fine. We have 5 minutes
they,
left.
they just have a really tough go right now. They got their pitching staff. That's too much for sale. All you need is 5 innings, 5 to 6 innings out of these guys every night. That's it.
Yeah. I just worry about the back end of the
And if
bullpen
you don't get
because
six out of one of these guys, you still get Winkowski. You still get Whitlock out there who could pick up innings.
Chris
The
Murphy.
fact that you stretched a lot of these guys out here with the bullpen games and they're going to get some rest now, I think they're in the best. They're in the driver's seat if they can actually get some consistency, which they've not had the entire year.
I really hope so. I don't know. Too little, too late. But look, as soon as we all say, dude, they're out of it, they just cannot fall out of it. They're what, three
No.
games back right now? They just
Mm-hmm.
can't fall out of it.
And they're going to
So
play
it's like
Toronto again.
3 games and like I think you said 50. I think it's more like 42, 40. Getting 3 games in 42 games, that's totally possible. What's going to be hard about it though is their schedule. Their schedule is not favorable at all. That's why I say, dude, you got to take advantage of these games because we're going to go in August and they're going to be a couple games back. Then you're going to look at the winnable games that you lost and you're going to say, oh, if we won this game, things would be different. That's why I get so pissed off of losing winnable games in April and May. Everyone's like, dude, we have the rest of the season. Look, as one of my buddies says, you can't win a World Series in April and May, but you can certainly lose it. That's why I think
Mm-hmm.
the games are so crucial early on.
And we complained a lot about Cora's moves in the beginning of the year with his lineups and the way he managed the bullpen. And do I think that could come back and haunt them? Yeah, I absolutely think so. But I think this team's young enough to realize, just keep moving forward, keep playing for the next game. All that stuff those guys say it after every interview. Play for the one game at a time, blah, blah, blah. But they have the ball's in their court. They're going
Exactly.
up against teams like Texas, Toronto, the Yankees, which
The Yankees you got
they
to
should
beat.
beat
The
the Yankees.
Yankees you got to make if you can get them in last place. Oh boy, would be a story. They come in having one of the highest payrolls. It was like the third or fourth highest payroll. For them to be finishing in last place is unacceptable, especially in a place like New York. We as Red Sox fans, we bitch about getting in last place all the time, right? We're like, oh, with the resources they have, they should not be finishing in last. If you're a Yankees fan and you finish in last place, you're paying shit ton of money to Judge, Cole, Stanton, LeMahieu, Rodon. It's a lot of money, and they shouldn't be. They shouldn't be in last place. But yeah,
So
any
you got
last
Pavetta,
thoughts?
Paxton, and Sale coming up the next 3 games.
Yep.
I say 2 and 3. I think they win the Sale game. I think Pavetta has a bounce back game. I think they're low scoring games just because their offense hasn't purely clicked in the last 2 weeks. One of these days they're going to come out of it, and Ortiz, listen to me. Rafi's going to start hitting again. If Rafi starts hitting again, so goes the Red Sox and Duran. So, we're going to wrap it up here. It's been
Yeah.
fun. At least we're talking about them. It's mid-August and we're still talking that they got a chance.
Yeah, I know. Look, I thought we were going to be in a completely different situation. In the offseason, I'm like, dude, this team's not going to compete. We're competing. And I wish we did more at the trade deadline. So, any
I
last
had them at
thoughts?
85 wins.
Oh yeah,
They're
I
going
had
to need
less.
90 to get in, I think.
Yeah, I agree. So, for Mr. Brown, and that's it. I'm Jason Stalakis.
That's it.
Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see
Blah,
you in the
blah,
next
blah.
one. And for the blah blah blah. Well, by the way, you're part of the blah 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 family, whether you like it or not. Like I was telling Jeremy. Jeremy
Yeah,
told me
there
I'm
you
part
go.
of the Off the Monster crew, whether I like it or not. You're part of the blah 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 crew, whether you like it or not. Alrighty,
That
have a
should be
good
your
day.
outgoing statement from here on out.
Yep.
To all your viewers, you're part of the blah, blah, blah crew, whether you like it or not.
Goodbye.